All right, folks, we are ready for the head install. And before we do that, I want to point out that this head has all these little holes around the long side, but on the short side, it's only got 2 holes. There's 2 holes here, there are none down here. So what that means is on your gasket, you've got 2 holes, you've got no holes. So make sure that the holes in the head line up with the holes on the engine. So now Gavin's going to bring the head over here and set it on. You'll also notice he coated the other side of the gasket. And here is where those valve holding tools are worth their weight in gold. Because if you didn't have those, you'd be trying to fight holding those things in. And I have seen people say, well, I can make it myself. I can use baling wire. I can do this. I can do that. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it might work. But the penalty for it not working is taking the whole engine apart and starting over.
The only way that Grimmer Garage will warranty a Grimmer Garage gasket kit is if you use the valve holding tool.
That's a good point. You heard it here, folks. If you want a warranty on your gasket kit, we get calls all the time. Oh, I put it together, it blew a gasket. No, it didn't blow a gasket. What happens is your valves are in there crooked because you didn't use a valve holding tool. So anyway, that being said, you're going to go ahead and assemble all the head bolts in here. And then Gavin mentioned a little bit about the torque sequence and what needs to happen with the head bolts. There's a little bit different procedure for that, isn't there?
You've got 2 different torque specs. You want to do the initial torque spec upon reassembly. You've got a 60 foot-pound torque spec for your head bolts and a 23 foot-pound torque spec for your intake bolts. Then after everything is assembled, you want to run this thing up to temperature. You want to get everything nice and hot, let all those gaskets seat and seal, and then once it cools back down from your initial run up to temp, you're going to retorque the head bolts to 70 foot-pounds, and you're going to retorque the intake bolts to 25 foot-pounds. And that'll ensure that everything stays seated and sealed.
Yeah, that's pretty important. You saw how small those O-rings were on the valves. It doesn't take much, I guess, for those to blow out. That's what happens is the O-rings will blow out. Everything's not seated down good and hard. So looks like he's got them all in. He's going to go ahead and torque those down. And then it's time for the intake. And then we get to drop this puppy in the tub. So stay tuned.